In October 2014, I was given an amazing opportunity to articulate a bison skeleton on Catalina Island. It's not exactly a normal project for a 22-year-old girl. My name is Lauren Kitayama. As a child, I used to pick up shells, rocks, and bones off the beach, which started my fascination with dead things, but I'd never quite worked on something this big before. I did a lot of research before leaving. The first major challenge was going to be getting me and all of my materials to the island. I graduated in December 2013 with a BS in ecology and a marine science minor from the University of California, San Diego. And while at school, I had the chance to work in an archaeology lab with 10,000-year-old human remains. I graduated from Aptos High School in 2010 and now chaperone their annual trip to the Catalina Island Marine Institute at Toyon Bay. It was on this trip in 2013 that I first saw Manville. Manville is one of only about 100 American bison on Catalina. The bison were brought to the island in 1924 for a movie called The Vanishing American. However, the movie was filmed elsewhere. The 13 remaining bison turned into a herd of 1,500. In 2004, the Island Conservancy relocated a majority of the herd to South Dakota. Today, they maintain a small population for tourism. Manville, however, wasn't just any old bison. For 6 years, he'd been a fixture in camp. He allowed himself to be pet and hand-fed. And then one day, he hiked up the trail to Shrine, laid down beneath a tree, and died. As far as we know, Manville died of old age. Bison can live up to 25 years, so it's possible he was as old as I am. One of the coolest things about the projects was seeing the bones' pathologies. Manville had led a full and exciting life. He was missing his left horn, which always made him easy to identify. He'd been shot and survived, the bullet still lodged in his 5th right rib. He had major remodeling at the end of his 6th rib. I won't even venture a guess as to the cause. His 7th, 8th, and 9th thoracic vertebrae were all overgrown, possibly from some gnarly form of arthritis. In my bedroom at home, I have a fully articulated raccoon skeleton, bullfrog, and squirrel, along with deer, horse, and bison skulls hanging on the wall. Bones break down naturally in the environment, and so I coated all of them with a layer of polyurethane varnish to protect them from UV, rain, and wind. In order to honor Manville's choice of final resting place, the entire assembly process took place at Shrine. Shrine is an old chimney atop a 300-foot ridge overlooking camp in the bay. This, of course, presented new challenges. There is a considerable amount of stuff on the bones, mostly connective tissue and hide, that had to be removed. I had to take him completely apart before I could start putting him back together again. It was during this process that I realized the vice grip was my new best friend. Placing the bones is not as hard as it might seem. With my experience and reference materials, I knew exactly where each bone went. The hard part was putting it there. I'd never drilled through bones before and was amazed by how strong they were and yet how easy they were to put holes through. But mostly I was surprised by how bad it smelled. The day before, I had wrestled the hide off the skull without a second thought, but the bitter and acrid smell of the drilling almost made me gag. The biggest articulation I'd done before this was a raccoon. He was about 2 feet long. I put him together with super glue, tweezers, and a magnifying glass. Working on something as big as a bison is completely different. Figuring out the stand was the hardest part. I'm an ecologist, not an engineer. Thankfully, the camp's maintenance staff was very kind. They helped me design, build, and assemble what I needed. Still, it took a lot of work to put together. The main building materials included concrete and water to support the stand, stainless steel rods for the backbone and major joints, wire for the sternum, nails for the ankles and wrist, and epoxy and silicone to make it all stick together. But the fun part was improvising the stand out of electrical conduits and the rib supports out of roof flashing. All in all, it was 14 days of physical labor in the beating sun. I was filthy and exhausted, but incredibly proud of what I'd accomplished. It was an amazing experience and an honor for me to see Manville stand again.